first of all, good morning to the both of you. My name is Daniela Pedro. I'm here representing the TEN Connect Consortium. I'm part of the communications and management team, so that's why I'll be the one conducting this short interview. I believe you both already know the TEN Connect project. It is an Interreg Europe project. It started this year. We're nearing the end of its first semester of execution. And one of the things that the project wants is to promote the involvement and participation of different stakeholders on the project activities. And this is a project that deals with the TEN-T network, so the European Transport Network, and with strategies and collaboration to promote and improve sustainability in mobility and in connecting different regions, particularly the peripheral regions or the peri-urban and rural regions of the countries that are participating. I think you were both on the event last week, if I'm not mistaken. No? Well, so every semester the project aims to sort of the partners have to develop an interregional learning and participatory event, and the idea is for different policy instruments to be discussed throughout the project regarding mobility, connectivity, and the TEN-T network. And each semester a partner is responsible, or various partners, but from specific regions, are responsible for developing and implementing these events. And each semester we're going to ask for local stakeholders from those regions that are responsible for the event to speak a little to us about connectivity, about transport, about mobility. And in this case, the first partner to organize the event was the Riga Planning Region. And so we're going to be talking to you and also to stakeholders from MRUP and Kekava. I'm not sure if I'm saying this correctly. We wanted to join all of you in the same call because we thought it's going to be interesting to have you all speak about the same theme. But unfortunately, the agendas could not be matched. So we're starting with you today, and then tomorrow we're going to have 2 more interviews. The goal here is for these interviews to be published online, and then short videos will be done for the social media and for the project website. We can all send that to you afterwards as well. That's why we're recording, so that we can have the videos for sharing. This initial part will probably be cut off, but then your answers will be fully uploaded to the YouTube page. And then, as I mentioned, short videos will be done for other social media such as Facebook and LinkedIn. So I did want to keep this brief. I don't want to take up too much time, and also because people won't watch a video that's an hour long. So we want this to be short, concise, and helpful. We only have sort of 2 questions so that we can keep it brief and simple. And if there isn't any other question or doubt, I think I would start with the first one. Is that okay? Yeah?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so TEN Connect is a project that emphasizes the integration of underconnected regions into the transnational European network of transport. And so it aims sort of to connect cities that are metropolitan areas and that are big cities, big urban centers such as Riga, with other peri-urban and rural municipalities. In this case, on last week's event, there was a participation as well of the municipality of MRUP and Kekava. There was also field visits to both these sites. And so I think my first question would be, what strategies do you think are needed for improving collaboration between Riga and these 2 municipalities or others that are still quite underconnected, so that we can ensure an equitable development and that regional mobility is ensured and is available for and accessible for everyone?
Yeah, okay. Maybe I will start. In our case, Kekava is fast-growing municipality next to Riga, but they are not yet fully integrated into the public transport system with Riga Satiksme, which is a Riga municipal transport company, which includes buses, trains, trolley buses. And there's also, I think, A7 highway going into Riga, and it was just a few years recently built. It's new. And there's also now transfer or mobility point infrastructure built where transfer could be made between different modes of transport, let's say car to public, or from one public transport regional bus to Riga City municipal bus. What it shows that even for the new infrastructure, we still haven't done the planning how the suburb gets into Riga other than by car, or if it's like long distance regional transport, then it's assumed that if they have started somewhere in Lithuania or Bauskas, so they will go down to the very center of the Riga city, that there is no transfers planned or infrastructure build. And we do see from Riga perspective it as a problem because Riga wants less people entering the center, less cars entering the center, and make these transfers where possible. And definitely on 10T roads, we want to have on the Riga border, outside Riga or within Riga, but somewhere on the border area where different means of transport meet, we would like to really build these mobility points so that people can make rational choices, especially if they travel short distances, like say half an hour from Riga. The different logic will apply to the longer term trips where people travel hour, 2 or more. Then of course they should be brought into the very center or downtown, and then they make their choices. So this is, I would say, where we are now. We have started planning for the SUMP, suburban mobility plan. We are building this model, but so far there is no, how to say, design of public bus new system, I would say, on a Riga suburb, with a philosophy that all these, let's call them regional buses, that they are all centered to the transfer point where Riga Satiksme buses take them on, or public railway. So the trains, in case of Čekava, there is no train. The only possibility is transfer by bus. And as I said, we still don't have built the system. I think when Čekava will tell better than I, but as far as I know, they have a regional bus serving them to get from the Čekava and farther away areas people into Riga. So they are crossing Čekava or getting people from point 8 and driving to Riga, to the very center. This is old system which existed for the last half century, maybe, but as I said, we do want to make new mobility system that, how to say, make more transfer system rather than having long routes all going into parallel, and which leads that the center of the metropolitan city Riga is basically jammed. So this is where we are now, and I think it will take maybe 2-3 years to do the planning, to do the necessary infrastructure, and only by year 2030, 2031, there's a legal possibility to get rid of the regional transport, because so far they have concession, they have right to drive. We can limit their scope by 30%, not more. because they still have concession. However, even this delta of 30%, it provides room for new type of transports, so that the Riga city transport goes outside, picks up the people, so we can make these, so let's say on experimental basis or test basis. And as I said, we are just at the process of awareness building. We understand that, you know, we have to build new system, but there is no new system yet.
Yeah, I was going to ask if what was the main sort of hindering factor in implementing this new system. So do you think that specifically that concession on the regional transports is part sort of, I don't want to say problem, but part of the reason why no change has been made yet, or why it's so difficult to implement change?
So the current system is that it's all this regional bus system is organized by the Ministry of Transport and their agency called Sabiedriskā Autotransporta Direkcija, or Latvijas Autotransporta Direkcija, Latvian Auto Bus Direction, or Directorate, so to say. And what they are having is that they have contracted in year 2021 regional bus companies, given them concessions. They bought new buses. They have guaranteed period for 10 years until 2030. And now they are in middle of this concession period, but the system works not very well. Why? Because there has been huge inflation a few years ago, and they do not match exactly the standard for the salaries for the drivers. So government is not subsidizing enough. Plus, also there's a depopulation in regions outside Riga metropolitan area, and it means there are more and more losses. The government has to compensate these losses for the regional buses. So in a total basket, there is shortage of funds. It means that they are struggling to, to say, and it seems that they are promising for the suburban area of Riga city that they will decrease funding for the subsidized routes by 30%, which is very challenging because the changes in 1 year.
Yeah.
There are no preparatory or we haven't planned anything what will be the impact. And it's actually kind of giving the signal for the public transport system to actually squeeze or reduce. And if it happens, then it's likely that people will rather buy another car for the family because they have to commute somehow. And also demographically, Riga suburb areas are still growing. There are more and more people, including Chairman. So if there are more people, the buses shouldn't become less. So, and this is a situation, this is a reason or the trigger why Riga and Riga suburban municipalities are thinking, you know, we need a new system. We probably should be ordering or being the contractors ourselves, the municipalities, rather than government.
Sure.
Because we see our region better, we are closer to people, we are closer to needs, but we want to see all the funds available on our table. So where is the share of government? What is proposition from the Riga city? What is the cost? And then if it's something missing, what could be the budget from the local municipalities to add on? Sure. Because so far they lived in a system where the suburban municipalities didn't pay for the transport anything at all. They could pay only for the school bus system, which, for example, for Chairman municipality was quite costly. It costed for them like $500,000 a year or something. But from the public transport system point of view, this school bus system is actually parallel system, which takes away.
Yeah.
So again, if we think strategically, probably it's better to build one network and take everybody on board rather than build two parallel networks, because they're costing more actually. To appreciate depreciation of buses, the drivers, and So as I said, so the suburban area is in a stressed situation now. Riga city has legal right. We can exit from Riga and return back with our bus system, but we are not allowed to start our routes in outside Riga and finish outside. So the license Riga public bus has until I think 1935 is only we are only allowed to start from Riga. We can have short exit, 15 kilometers or more. I don't remember exactly, but the bus has to return to Riga city. So this is, I think, how to say, signal that change needs to be in the system, and we need to do a lot of planning, also to get more transparency on financing, and also difficult political discussions, who pays for what. Because as I said, for Riga city, which owns a municipal company, it costs some 10% of the budget. When for the suburban municipalities, they don't pay for public transport anything at all, unless they have school bus system. Then they pay 100%. So, and as I said, the minus for the current system is that there's a lot of parallel driving. So the bus line goes in parallel to train, regional bus goes in parallel to Riga, public transport within the city of Riga, which leads to, how to say, inefficiency.
Yeah, it must also be confusing for the people using the system, because I don't know if is there any sort of integration to buy, for example, the bus tickets. Could you buy a ticket that works for both networks? Are there different tickets, different systems, or is it the same system?
No, there are different systems. My eldest son, middle son, he's 18. He's good at these systems, so he's doing it over the phone. But me, who is mostly driving the car, it's not very convenient, and also these systems are not integrated. So the train is train. Riga's municipal public transport system is separate, and in case of the regional transport, it's again separate. So there are 2-3 interfaces you have to work, and also if you are in this so-called mobility point where this one or other transport means, you don't have a stands or the billboards where you can easily see, geographically how these routes connect, or also the timetable, and also the ticketing system. Yes, we have built so-called unified ticketing system. Maybe Linda can tell more, but it's not exactly done so that it's harmonized pricing in zones, so that it's kind of built to motivate the person to transfer, to change different modes of transport in a way that he's not discriminated, so that he still pays the same price. We haven't built this unified ticketing model so far as well. So as I said, we are just in the beginning. I would say this awareness building. We start understanding the problem, and we understand that probably we have to break our borders for different modes of transport, or for the municipal areas, because the transport system crosses it all. different transport systems, and they should be, how to say, reorganized in more convenient way.
Mm-hmm. I think I would now ask Linda to provide some feedback. I saw you raised your hand.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that there's like testing of joint ticketing system, but it's on early stages. So, but maybe I can add as well what Māris previously mentioned about strategies and initiatives that are in Riga planning region and in Riga metropolitan area, like combining these activities. Yeah, currently Riga metropolitan area action plan is developed by Riga planning region, and I would say it is currently the most integrated and coherent plan for regional perspective on mobility issues in metropolitan area. And we see that there's like a strong need for integrated planning framework for Riga and neighboring municipalities, and the lack of a sustainable urban mobility plan for Riga metropolitan area is like a significant issue for us, because we don't have like a joint vision where our mobility is developing. And I would say that and the collaboration currently is from one initiative to another, but it is not coherent and like overarching. And already Ministry of Transport of Latvia has already developed a sustainable integrated public transport plan for Riga metropolitan area, and it is intended as a part of SUMP, which Māris was speaking of, and which suggests that one of public transport which suggests one of the solutions could be one public transport organization in the metropolitan area. Unfortunately, it lacks progress on implementation. So this could be like a crucial step forward for integrated planning within the metropolitan area. And I would as well mention that within the EU-funded greening plan for Riga metropolitan transport system, a new approach of metropolitan mobility planning was introduced within Latvia, which was like to take transport corridors as a planning approach, which both in Riga and Riga metropolitan area, to combine investments with these transport corridors, and those included both like rail electrification projects, mobility point development, cycling infrastructure, and as well a tram line extension in Riga, and as well mobility point integration with extending these lines. And this was, I would say, the approach that we look forward to introduce as well in our SUMP, which is still forthcoming. And that is one of these. As well, I would like mention mobility data system that should be developed in as well in Riga metropolitan area. We are currently developing projects for the basis of it, but it will be only introduced in coordination with neighboring municipalities. So it's a crucial step forward to plan. We have to have some data on what we are planning. And as well, in regional perspective, I would say in long term, we are as well looking forward of introducing Rail Baltica, not only the main line, but as well the loop through the Riga city and neighboring municipalities. It would be a significant improvement in regional mobility as well.
That's good. I think that leads me to my last question. So one thing about this project and this Interreg Europe approach in general is to promote inclusive governance and stakeholder engagement and participatory activities, because the belief is that, again, as we've been hinting at throughout this interview, without cooperation and without coordination between regions, it's very hard to come to a solution that fits the needs of everybody and that is sort of sustainable long term. So I think I would ask for you, what are the needed steps to improve participation? What's the hardest part about involving local or regional authorities and communities, businesses, even sometimes the schools, having this different sort of network functioning for them? Is it hard to get people, let's say like this, involved and to get feedback from the communities on what their needs would be? Is that something that makes planning harder, or is it something that you're getting to do and it's quite easy to get different organizations and people involved and providing their opinion and feedback and then creating a system that was based on active participation?
So my feeling is that, which is, let's say, like elephant in the room is what we understand is that, you know, it has good 30 years passed since people shifted away from use of public transport to private cars. Mm-hmm. Because in 1990, when I was, you know, I was 19 years old, at that time there were very few cars. It was luxury to have car for family, and the people used buses or trains as a main mode of transport. But as the time went on, you know, cars became cheaper, more modern, affordable. You know, and today, you know, you can buy second-hand car for a very low price and drive the next day. So the problem is that people are used to get from point A to B with private car, park in very place they want in Riga City. Of course, there are parking system like toll paid parking, which is quite expensive, and it's becoming more difficult because Riga City is making more space for bicycles and reducing number of parking lots. But people have this kind of attitude that this is the most convenient way of transportation. Maybe it costs more, but you kind of are getting used to these costs. And I think what we see this as a challenge, that how to convince people. And of course, you can do the stick and carrot thing. You know, if you enter Riga, you have to pay for clean air or something. But I think it will be very politically difficult. Mm-hmm. People resist it. They will translate it as, you know, that it's kind of discrimination, and the businesses will say, okay, then we move out of Riga. And to be honest, Riga has already lost good 30% of people in the last 30 years. You know, there has been growth outside Riga because people had their dream of having their own house. So Riga is not in a situation, it's not that attractive as Venice, you know, where, you know, it's out of competition, you know. So Riga is competing, and I cannot say it's actually winning the competition with development outside. So I would hesitate saying that, you know, just putting a toll road or fees, entering on congestion fees will be a good rationale trigger. I think it should be the opposite. The public transport should be more convenient, attractive. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't help to get rid of cars, then, you know, the last thing could be to impose some kind of cost for the cars or for the diesels or whatever. But it cannot be built opposite way, starting with the stick and not seeing the carrot. Yeah. And this is what is in our heads as a politicians: how to do it gradual, how to do it mildly, mm-hmm. Because if people get angry, and the systems are not ready, or they are not built, transfer points don't work yet, or the bus system is not well connected or not regular enough. So it's kind of a little too early, or way too early to start with the stick things. Plus, also, if we talk about the parking systems, Riga was built 100 and more years ago, the most of the center, and we are very, there's high groundwater, we are low, and you cannot build in the ground, so you have to build on the surface or on a multi-floor, which is quite expensive thing. But we cannot do the classical European way where you dig parkings for the car under the house. We just cannot do it for physical obstacles, there's water. And so these are our kind of challenges, how to do it in smooth way.
Okay, it's very good. I don't know if Linda, do you want to add anything?
I could. In my opinion, one of the keys to understand on which stages of planning process you should involve society or larger stakeholder group, because there are some decisions that should be done within the planning process that are not so originally well they anger, as Māris mentioned, anger society, but they are necessary for further development. So the key should be to understand in which stages you should involve as well society. But overall, I would say that Riga has like a good public participation mechanisms introduced already, and we have as well like advisory councils involving NGOs and the public consultations, and as well we are quite, I would say, open-minded and organize participatory planning workshops, etc. So we try to involve society as early as it could be. But we are like managing in which stages it would be the most sufficient and necessary to as well not mislead the discussion out of the main like goal we are intending.
Yeah, makes quite much sense, and it's interesting for me to hear your experiences, because I can find sort of the parallelism between your challenges and the Portuguese challenges as well, and it's interesting to see that we're all still trying to figure out how to navigate this and to provide people with a good system that works and that's sort of functioning and sustainable long term. So that's quite good. I won't take up too much of your time. Thank you very much for participating. Thank you very much for your efforts and for your daily work. I believe you're doing a good job, and I think in a few years you will manage to achieve, if not the entire goal, which might be difficult, at least small steps. And I hope you keep track of this project, because the goal is to exchange experience, to exchange knowledge, and to resolve sort of regional issues, but from a more global perspective. And it's always very interesting to have these different opinions. So thank you very much in my name and in the name of the project consortium. And we will then upload this video to YouTube, and then once we have the short videos, we will send all of that through email, so that you can check this and further interviews to be done. So thank you very much, and have a good day.